What is up, people? Hi, everyone. I hope my mic is working. Should be, but we'll see. Hey, friends. How's your Sunday? Perfect. Good to see my mic's working. I'm just going through the chat a little bit, seeing what's happening. Oh yes, I live here. Definitely. I'm here like 5 days a week. Sometimes 6, sometimes 7. Fun stuff. Cumulus, why are you redoing 70% of your track? I was listening. I don't know if you were in the Discord last Friday with Son. I heard your track. It was amazing. Please don't change it too much. But I'm sure you'll make it better than it already was. So, Tim Beast mode. Let's get it. It's all good. It's all good, Cumulus. Yeah, it's been a while since I streamed, Robin. I sort of did the I live here thing, the streaming stuff at the beginning of, when was it? Last year, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, the whole I live here thing is a bit buried right now because I'm doing all this mastering stuff, which I sort of want to focus on right now. So yeah, that's the reason behind that. My Sunday's been pretty good. What did I do today? Easy morning. Set up this Twitch stream things, preparations. Went to my dad-in-law because it was his birthday last week, but he had COVID last week, so we celebrated it today with some dinner. And now I'm here. So yeah, sun is shining, can't complain. So yeah, let's see. I've no clue what we're gonna do today. I was sort of going into this with like an open mind. Just wanted to see what you guys are maybe looking for. If you have any questions, I can answer. I can show you guys some stuff if you'd like to. Yeah, sort of show some ways I like to go about things. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll see what comes up. Maybe you guys have sort of like questions that I can sort of combine into one thing and show you guys. Chain rundowns, please. That's a good one, but every song is different. So yeah, I get like I don't have a fixed chain, unfortunately. That might be a cool idea, Sven. Are you down for that, Cumulus? Let me know. And thank you for the birthday wish. Cool. Could you could you maybe DM me that Cumulus like on Insta or something or yeah, I think that's the best way to go. I don't know if you have my email, but yeah, if you could, that would be fucking awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Best way to make bassy synth sound wider or more stereo? Interesting questions. I like that. I like that. Master all of the tracks in 1 hour. Paul Allen's track? I'm sorry, I don't know who Paul Allen is, but yeah, let's see. Share your approach on how you start mixing. Yeah, so basically, I'm more of a mastering engineer at this moment in time than I am a mixing engineer. But I can definitely share some thoughts on that. Oh, cool. I'm sorry, Orange Piece. I don't know the reference. I'm Dutch. Let me see. I'm just going down the chat a little bit to see if I missed anything. Do the wooden roof supports help with acoustic treatment? Well, yeah, I'm not sure because I've been in this room for how long? It's been about 7 years now, and I did a bit of a overhaul last June, I believe, somewhere around that time. Built some bigger bass traps, redid the room, aligned the speakers so they're all in phase, so that my two speakers and the subwoofer are completely in phase. So if any low end transient hits, it's all in phase and nothing cancels out, which is great. And I also did. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit rough still. What I'd like to do is have some wooden slats to hide this, but there's acoustic treatment behind this right now. Don't know if you can see it, to dampen it a little bit more, like above my head. So yeah, that's what I did, and I built like these humongous traps, and there's 4 more in front of me, sort of to control the low end in the room a bit more. I'm pretty lucky with this room because it's like on a first floor. How do you say that? So there's nothing beneath me, and the floor beneath me is pretty. It has a lot of air gaps, so like sound goes through there and sort of disperses through there, which is great. Yeah, still kicking it in Zoetermeer. Let's see. Yeah, sorry. I'm just reading. Yeah, this is also Son's studio. I share the space with Son, but since he's in LA right now and has been for like the past half year, it's basically been my studio. But he's Yeah, but he has some stuff here as well, and we sort of share some stuff. So if he's down here, he can obviously make use of the room. Um, but I sort of maintain this room. Yeah, it's a cool space. I like it. It's quirky. It sort of feels like a home studio, which I like. Like last year, I got to do Son's album in Dolby Atmos, which is the full 360 surround thing. And I was at the Stamped Studios, the Martin Garrix Studios in Amsterdam. And while that room is amazing, it sort of also feels a bit, uh, yeah, clinical, almost, if that makes sense. And I don't know, this space is just, I like it. It's vibey. It's vibey. Yeah, the Dolby Atmos thing is weird. I have another project coming up in Dolby Atmos, which I can't say too much about, unfortunately, but I will when it's out. And like the development there has been interesting for sure. And drink vodka and Zoetermeer. Yeah, that's what we like. Cool. Um, yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Cumulus. Let me download that WAV real quick, and we'll just do that. You can sort of see how I go about things, and we can, I guess, take it from there. I'm sure like questions will pop up. How did you guys like the previous master classes so far? Like I was watching Hein for a bit yesterday and on planets the day before. Maybe I can show. That would be a good one, because that's one of the favorite masters I think I've done. It's uh, it's a collab between Flaws and On Planets for the Golden Finch EP, um, and it's I don't know I that was one of those ones that just came together very quickly in a very pleasing way. Um, yeah, and I like that. So maybe I can show you guys that one later. That would be a cool one. Um, hope I can fix that. Yeah, should be good. Okay, let me check. Yes, I can definitely explain my process. I will do that with the Cumulus track. I haven't seen the Dot masterclass. I should. She's amazing. She has a good team. I like her a lot. Cool. Let me just set up sort of my template for mastering, and we'll take it from there. And how's all of your tracks going? I heard some pretty amazing stuff in the Discord last Friday, so I'm very much looking forward to the final thing. Like there's some like what I like about it the most is the I think you guys are still like I consider myself old because I'm 31, which is not that old, but like in the music industry, that's old. Um, and what I love about you guys is I think you guys are all pretty young, like late teens and maybe even early 20s, and you can just hear the difference between what I was sort of thinking about when I was 20 and what you guys are thinking about at your age right now. And there are some really innovative, crazy stuff going on, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. Let me see. Let's love it. Let me set this up real quick and I'll share a screen with you guys. Console. Sorry, Cumulus. I have to do this at 44.1 because of the stream instead of 48K, but should be good. Let's see. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely go through more uh, of the submission so far and in the coming week and check it out. Why not at 48K? Because of the plugin I'm using to get the computer audio into OBS into Twitch. It's not even mixed, to be honest. Well, this should be fun. I'm looking forward. There's a 9-year-old making music in Logic. That's sick. I was just throwing rocks into like the not at people, but like into the water when I was 9. I was just playing soccer and climbing trees when I was 9. Cool. Let's see if there's any questions real quick. Sorry, just reading the chat. If I'm quiet, I'm just reading the chat, just FYI. Did you by any chance master Dusk is Rising? Yes, I did. How did I deal with the white noise in the main drop? Well, that was mixed pretty well. I'm not sure exactly what I did there. I don't think I have that master project right here, right now, because I think it's on an old computer. But Yeah, I think that was just mixed pretty well. It already had like a lot of low end in there, I believe. So uh, I think what I did is just brought the low end down a little bit and threw on a shit ton of saturation, clipping, limiting. Cool. All right, let's. I should be able. Shabam. There we go. Welcome to Pro Tools. This is a weird looking Ableton. But yeah, this is Pro Tools. It's sort of what I like to master in. I have a different program I actually use for mastering, but that was a bit of a hassle to get to work with this whole live stream thing. So that's why I'm doing it in here. Let me see if I have sound. Let me turn this down a bit. I'll explain why I have 3 tracks here in a minute, but I just want to make sure I have audio, which I don't, which makes sense. There we go. Cool. You guys are hearing this, right? If not, let me know. Let me know. Cool. Okay. So with every master I do, I turn the lights down low, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. Sounds weird, but I like to get in a mood that focuses me pretty much into the song. Like the music is the most important thing. And then I sit down, crank my speakers to a volume I like, and start listening to the whole song from front to back. So cumulus, if you don't mind, I'll play the whole thing from front to back. Yeah, while I'm listening, I'm sort of looking for what is happening, what the artist, or what I at least think the artist is trying to convey with this track, where the mix is at. If there's anything that is bothering me, and if it's bothering me, I ask myself the question, why is it bothering me? Because that's a big thing for me. Like, I can take out, if I hear a frequency that's sort of in my face, but it has a purpose in the song, I'd like to leave it in there instead of carving it out. Like, there's no bad frequencies, in my opinion. But I'll get to that later. Let's just have a listen to this and we'll take it from there. Jeez, this track is so good. God damn. Cool. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing shit to it. That's usually the way I like to work. Um, I sort of have a vision for it, but not sure. Um, I think the could do a bit of cleaning up in like the lows and the low mids, and what I'd love to do is sort of bring that vocal thing right right here in the middle. Um, get it a bit more upfront, because I love that thing, and just sort of massage it a bit and see see where it goes from there. So I'm just gonna go at this, turn my mic off, and I'll be back with you guys in like 20 minutes or something. Hopefully, maybe it takes a little longer. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, you can sort of see the process. Before I do that, though, might be handy to explain what I'm doing here. Um, so basically, this is where I'd like to put all the audio that comes into me. If it's limited, not limited, if it has master bus processing on it already, compression, whatever, I don't care, as long as it's not clipping, basically. I like to work with mixes that are closest to what the artist envisions, and sort of take it from there. I know there's a lot of mastering well, not a lot anymore, I think, but it used to be really a thing. Like take all your compressors off, all your limiters off, everything off the master bus, so we can do that. Um, and I don't like that because, uh, yeah, I just like to work with what the artist already has. If there's any problems though, if I feel like, this compression is overbearing, um, or there's some widener on there that makes everything like fully like this, and there's nothing coming through the center anymore, I'd be like, yo, can you please take that off? But other than that, I like to have the mix as it is. At the moment, the artist bounced it out. Whether that has limiting on it, looks like this has limiting on it because it's basically a square wave right here. So yeah, so that's how I like to receive mixes. In terms of this, this is the input. So this should have no input because there's no audio coming in. And this is the output of the track. And what I'm doing is sending it to here, which is an aux track in Pro Tools. So you see this line over here, which is like the volume automation line. I could turn that up or down, but that's not really necessary. Sometimes I like to do that in mastering. Maybe I'd like to do that here as well, but we'll see that down the line. And so the audio goes to this one. And what I then like to do is send it to the print track, so to this track, and then it goes out of my speakers. So the print track is an audio track again, and what I like to do is basically record actually what I've mastered over here. Why I like to do that is because I use an interface called the Lynx Hilo, which is built for mastering. It's a pretty expensive thing, but what I usually do is go line out of the interface and straight back into the interface with like just short wires. And the reason why I like to do that is because it gives a lot of it's like the difference is very subtle, but to me it's huge. It gives some three dimensionality, which I like. Other than that, I don't use any like hardware, external hardware compressors, EQs, or anything. When I started out, I thought I needed that, but the more I'm doing this, the more I'm thinking I should just stay away from that and sort of do my own thing and master with plugins and just go out of my interface and back in, because it's been serving me really well, and I just like the simplicity of that. I don't like because like hardware, external hardware is finicky, especially if you're buying like compressors that have tubes in them and stuff like that, and all these plugins are getting more amazing each day. And I can use some weird ass plugins like that. I sometimes use Sausage Fattener, for instance, which is not a thing most mastering engineers would use, I think. But I like doing stuff like that, just using some weird plugins to see how far I can take those plugins, and yeah. So that's it basically. Is this all clear so far? Let me just put some plugins that I know I'm gonna use already. Bam. Bam. Here's already a first trick of mine, which is 2 limiters at the end, and I'll show you why. Cool. Let me look in the chat real quick. I like to work with mixes. Well, welcome to Cumulus's unmixed track. Well, it's still a mix. Even though it's unmixed, it's still a mix. No, it's the Photoshop update. Nice. Yes, I be told I can confirm this is the DAW Mozart used back in the day. Alright, cool. I'm gonna close off the chat for a bit, turn off my mic, and have some fun, and we'll see. By the way, one quick thing. So these are all the plugin slots here. If I turn a plugin off like this, it's blue. If it's on, it's sort of whitish or highlighted. And what this is fully deactivated, so it's not any taxing any CPU. The reason I do this is because I don't need this plugin right now, but I will need it down the line. So yeah, it's not taxing any CPU right now. That's it. Okay. So yeah, I think this is as far as I can take it. Let's just listen through the whole thing. I'll print it like I usually would. The only thing I'm missing right now, which is a bit hard because it's, yeah, unfortunately I can't use it, but it's my interface, which is sort of my last thing, and I'm really missing it right now. But yeah, this is sort of where I'd like to take it. Let's just have a listen, um, and we can A/B it from there. Let's see. Let me clean this up a little bit. Perfect. Let's trim it there. Yeah, I'll do an A/B of the whole thing while it's when it's printed. But the thing I'd like to do now is just hit record, so I can change anything. I can't change anything anymore, and listen if it still feels good. Um, and I sort of walk around the room, which is what I'm gonna do right now as well. And we'll take it from there. All right, have fun. Cool. I hope you guys like this. I kind of like it. There's still some things I'd probably do. Like there's some vocal clicks and pops due to the the vocoder thing or alter boy or whatever Cumulus is using. That I would go in and take out with like Isotope RX. But yeah, I like the vibe. I like the vibe quite a bit. Yeah, let's have a listen to the final master and the old version. For that, I like to use this plugin, which is called Adapter AB. It's a plugin alliance plugin, which is pretty cool. You have all these slots you can fill with like reference tracks or like the original mix, original whatever, original demo, which I like to use to A/B, because the thing is you can sync it up with your timeline. So let me see if this works. Yeah. So as you can see, wherever I put my cursor on the timeline, it also shifts it into the into the reference file here. So that's amazing. So yeah, let's have a listen to the final master I did, and which is the blue one. And if I hit this one and it turns orange, it is the original mix. Let me level match this real quick so it's a fair comparison. And yeah, once again, there might be some things still in a mix that could be fixed a little bit more. Like the thing I'm running into right now is that I'd like to have a little more punch from the kick, because I think the limiter on the master bus is a bit heavy, but that could also be like a taste thing on Cumulus's end. I don't know that for sure, but that's a discussion I would have with the artist. Like, yo, is this something? Is this how you like to kick to sound, like in terms of loudness and in terms of punch, or would you be open to like maybe redoing the mix a little bit, or turning back down the limiter you have, or revise the mix and do another pass of the master? Cool. Let's just A/B the master to the mix I was sent by Cumulus. So once again, if this big knob over here is blue, it's my master. If it's orange, it's Cumulus's mix. So let's listen to the mix first, and I'll toggle back and forth. Here we go. So yeah, the differences are subtle on this one, but yeah, I feel like it's already in a pretty good place. Yeah, interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Let's save this. needs more sausage fattener, definitely. That could be like one of those things I could throw on still. Yeah. Ah, cool. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Yeah, like this would be the type of thing I send to the artist, to see if they like it, and then take it from there, basically. Also, my master was a bit softer than Dan's. Sorry, uh, his was like 1 dB, sort of louder than my master. So I'd obviously try to make it a bit louder, but yeah, for now this will do. I like it. Cool. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, like the clarity thing is sort of the most important thing to me. Sort of create some space for everything that is in there. How much time do I spend on a full master? It sort of depends. Um, I've had tracks. I had a track this week that was already mixed very well. So that was two EQs and a limiter, and it was done in like this amount of time. And the artist was like, "Let's go." I've also had masters where I was like 4 hours into it, and just sort of. But I think the thing is there, that I'm second guessing myself too much. So I'd like to do it, like one song within an hour, and if it's an album, dependent on the album. If it's like a super high energy album, I'd like to do it within 2 days, or at least the first pass. And if it's a little less heavy in energy, I'd like to do it in 1 day. But yeah, let's see. Let's see a couple of questions. Do you only work with bitbird artists for masters? Hell no. I work with everyone that is interested in, um, having a song mastered. I do have to say that I only work with artists that I like, which is a bit harsh to say, but there's so many different mastering engineers on this planet. Like, I'm not the heavy metal guy. For instance, I'll send you to a friend of mine who's really good at that, or a couple of genres that are just not my forte, that I believe could be done better by a befriended mastering engineer. But yeah, anything. I'm open to any type of masters. So you can always send me an email or go to my website, timbiesta.me or timbiesta@gmail.com. Just shoot me a message or DM me. Yeah. Yeah, big fan of Cumulus. I'm working on a project with him pretty soon, so that's why. Let's see. Thank you, the mono music. Appreciate that. Let me see if there's any other questions. Hmm. Just going through messages again. just music. Hmm. Giovanni asks, "Hi, when I'm mixing, I stay under the minus 60 B, and my mastering engineer always tells me that my mixes are not messed up enough. Any tips?" Hmm, messed up, as in like mangled or just not there yet? I'm not sure I fully understand that question, to be fair. Yeah, any tips on not messed up enough? For me, it sounds like saturation. So start saturation, start saturating the shit out of everything. But yeah, I'm not sure what he or she means by messed up. So I would like have a talk with your mastering engineer and see what he means exactly. I'm Shaq. Do you have any tips to kind of get out there as an engineer? I feel like I've built up some knowledge slash skills and would like to actually put them to practice on other stuff than like the Cambridge STEM database. Um, Honestly, start with friends. Start with this community stuff. Be better than what I do. Be better than the mastering engineer in your neighborhood, um, or a mixing engineer, or whatever you're trying to pursue. Um, but start with friends. I started out. The first mastering thing I did was for my own stuff. For I live here, and then one day, someone came up to me and said, "Yo, the Nicholas is doing an EP with us on Bitbird, like the first Nicholas EP in 2017, I think." Um, I was like, "I'd like you to master it," and I had no clue. I just had Ozone, um, and yeah, just did that master from there, basically. Um, but that sort of piqued my interest in mastering and started looking up what mastering actually is and what it could be, and yeah, started doing it more, and then started doing it with Duskus, and then taking it from there, basically. And I think at a certain point I had, well, like a level of confidence is a bit cocky to say, but yeah, like you said, yeah, you've built up some knowledge and some skills, and you'd like to share those, and that's what I had as well. And then I just made an Instagram page and a website and started spamming people like, "Hey, I offer mixing and mastering services right now." Also, flaws. I do a lot with flaws as well. Um, so yeah, that just sort of evolved, and the projects. The funny thing is, like, the projects I have right now are word of mouth, 9 out of 10 times. Or like, last week I had the Duskus release, like his new track. What was it called again? My Heart. And a guy saw that on Instagram and was wondering if I could do one of his songs as well. So that's sort of how you build this whole thing up. Start with friends and build with those friends. And those friends know friends who know people who know people who know people. That's how I know Cumulus as well. I know Cumulus through through flaws, and he showed me Kalunde once, who's also a Dutch artist, and Kalunde is working on another project which I'm gonna be involved in soon, which is also a fucking cool project. So like, it's basically all word of mouth. And the same goes for like the Manila Killa stuff I did recently, which is through Son, obviously, which I'm also very lucky to have as a base. Like, knowing Son helped out a lot, but yeah, that's basically how I would go about it. How did I decide mastering was the way to go? Did you do mixing and production for clients as well? Yeah, I did a bit of mixing. I'm also doing some mixing again. I just finished a cool project, mixing project for a documentary soundtrack. Um, but it's more like stem mastering, so that's my sort of sweet spot. I think with the whole mixing thing, because that's what I started offering like in late 2019, I think, with mixing and mastering. But I just fell in love with mastering more with the nuance of things. I like doing small moves that have uh, a big impact, like creating the clarity in the song I just did. Um, is a big thing for me, and I just like those nuances more than I like making big moves and sort of focusing in on just like a kick drum or just a bass guitar or synth or whatever. Um, I like doing this big picture kind of thing. Um, and like, especially with albums, like that's the most fun for me because I get to sit and listen to a 12 track story for like an hour and see and like try to look for, okay, where can I take this to? And yeah, I just at one point decided to sort of ditch the mixing thing, and just fully focus on mastering, because that's what I like doing more, basically. Let's see. Hmm. You always aim for -6 lofts in electronic tracks? Hell no. It depends on the song. It's. I think -6 is a good spot, but I don't know. It's all so dependent on the song itself. I Let me show you guys like the. I'll show you guys the what's the song? The flaws / on planets track, because that thing is like all the on planets stuff is pretty soft as well, in comparison to the rest. To answer your question, Giovanni, for example, is it possible to mix a trap beat under the -7, making it hard, or does it need to stay on the 0 dB? Um, like the headroom you have, like the peak headroom you have until digital 0 doesn't really matter. It just needs to hit hard wherever that peak level is at. If it's closer to 0, that's fine. If it's at -6 or -7, that's fine. If you're trying to have it hit hard, look more into EQ and saturation instead of actual volume, like turning turning things up and down, or yeah, yeah. LFS can change a lot from song to song. Some songs just, especially if it's like a 12 with like Son's album, it's pretty consistent throughout the whole thing. But there's definitely artists I do albums for that are like all over the place, that are a bit wavy in terms of LFS. Um, so yeah, it's so dependent on the material I get in. Sometimes it's, especially some artists have like full on heavy songs, and then after that song is like this mellow acoustic guitar thing. That's obviously not going to be as loud, because if I turn the whole thing up to like -6 LUFS, it's gonna start weird. Cool. Do you guys have any questions about what I did here to the to dance song? Let me get a drink in real quick. Mm. No host music. For an album, would you do processing altogether or start each song from scratch? For an album, I sort of have a basic thing. Like, I listen to the album and sort of. Also depends, by the way, because sometimes an album is mixed by different engineers, like on a song per song basis. So one song is mixed by this engineer, and that song is mixed by that engineer, and those four songs are mixed by that engineer. And you sort of have to tie them in all together. So it takes a more of a song per song basis to master it, and other projects are more shaped already by just the one mixing engineer, and that way it's easier for me to do like a broad stroke on the whole thing, and then sort of go into detail with each individual song. And how I would do that is basically just, let me do this real quick here. I would sort of stack all the songs like this, for example. So this would be your whole album. That would go, all those tracks would go into this, where I would do some broad stroke things to the whole album, and the whole album gets printed here, and I would do some individual effects on all the songs if need be here. Cool. Let me delete this, or hide this at least. Let's see. Always wanted to ask, if there's too much buildup below 20 frequency, can that negatively impact limiting and loudness? Hell yes, that is a really good question. Because the thing is, you don't hear it, but you can see it. And since a limiter is full frequency, maybe I can show you. Let me see how I can show you this. So a limiter basically goes from like 0 hertz to whatever hertz. I'm not sure how many hertz. But those frequencies below 20 hertz can definitely impact the headroom you have, and since like low frequencies take up the most headroom because they're the biggest waves, and the higher you go up the frequency range, the waves get smaller and shorter, um, and those take up less headroom than those low frequencies. So yeah, definitely, if you're having problems in the low end, go into your mix and try to see if there's anything in your mix, like maybe some high-end synth has this low-end rumble in your that you could see in like the Pro Q3 or any EQ that has an analyzer, and you see a lot of stuff happening here, but this sound is basically here. Just simply try and roll it off a bit, and that'll give you way more headroom. So that stuff works out. DC offset, it's potato to me. I don't care a lot about that. Let me see. And maybe what's the recommended cutoff? There's no recommended cutoff. That's so dependent on the source material. Yeah, there's no way for me to say like this is it. I also never do like a standard cutoff on my masters, because it also fucks with phase, which is a whole different discussion. If you want to go like in detail on these types of discussion, like oversampling, aliasing, DC offset, like brick wall cutting, like this type of EQ, and setting stuff like this at 20 hertz and like zero latency, linear phase, stuff like that, I highly recommend all the videos by Dan Warrell and watching them a couple of times. There's some interesting stuff in there for sure. It gets very technical, but it's interesting if you want to learn more about those things, because he's really good at explaining those things. Let me put his name in the chat. Dan Worrell. Yeah, that guy's a legend. Let's see. Is it sometimes necessary to double low pass a channel in the mix? Yeah, could be. I usually don't do this because once it's like the how EQ works is that it doesn't like fully, it never fully cuts off. I don't think, even with like the brick wall. Let me just check this real quick. I'll turn this down a bit or turn this off. Yeah, like as you can see, I'm doing a brick wall thing. This is like the highlighted thing is the sound that still is going through, and the grayed out bit is what's, I think, taken off. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, this is a brick wall, so it's a flat line, but there's still some stuff coming through here. So EQ never cuts like fully. So it might be that you have to do like two of them, but just be aware that there's no way like to cut off any 100%. Should an entire album have the same cutoff? Depends. Once again, I'm not a big fan of like steep cutoffs, but that's just me. So yeah, do what you want basically. Would you be down to talk about an ideal master chain for live performances? Yeah, hit me up. for sure. That'll be. You can hit me up on IG or something. Yeah, YouTube, Dan Worrell. Yeah, he has some amazing videos on a lot of stuff. Okay, cool. Let me jump out of this real quick. Shabam. And go to the Flaws on Planets thing. Let me see where, if I did that in Pro Tools as well. Don't think so. Flaws on Planets. Let me see. Project. Okay. Let me delete some stuff real quick to keep it tidy. Cool. Right, let me grab my screen real quick. And I'd like to welcome you to a program that is called WaveLab. WaveLab is specifically made for mastering, for stereo mastering. So it's a bit different than Pro Tools. But yeah, it's a fun little program, and it's super handy with all the it has a whole metering section here and stuff like that, so it's pretty handy to use, and it has like the functionality to make a DDP, which is used for CD manufacturing, and I can make final masters in here and stuff like that, and I can sequence it, the whole thing. So it's a great little piece of software. Let me see. So okay, the bottom, as you can see here, it says better than unmastered, and the top one is what I recorded in. So that's what that is, and we can listen to the before and after real quick. Let me see real quick. I'm wondering what kind of EQ I did on here. Wow. Yeah, so this is all EQ and a bit of saturation. And then on the output, it's even more EQ. And then barely any limiting. Let me see if I did any. No. Because sometimes what I like to do is clip my audio interface as well. So what's coming out of the interface and then back in, I like to clip that signal going back in. But I didn't do that here. Yeah. Let me see if I can do. Wait, I'm gonna show my face again. Load in the adapter plugin and find the Where is it? I'll load in the pre-master so you guys can hear the difference. Let me see.
Don't wanna get ahead of myself.
Let's hope this works.
But I can't.
Yes, cool.
Last year when I disappeared.
No.
Up and full of fear. It took a while for
Yeah, it's a bit glitchy.
get back up, back up, get myself back together.
But yeah, let's have a little before and after listen. I just like how gushy this one is, and this was like Master 1, and it's done. I love it.
Don't wanna get ahead of myself, but I can't help it, can't forget how it felt, life looking out from the back of the shell. Look at myself, I know I'm better than last year when I disappeared. Running in circles half of the time, and the other half wondering why. Fingers crossed behind my back, hoping that this time I won't crack under the weight. I'm feeling like a wreck, but when I look at myself, I know I'm better than last year when I disappeared. Shaking up and full of fear. It took a while for me to get back up, get myself back together. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back. Don't wanna make a fool out of myself, but I just haven't seen proof there was nothing better than this itself. I still can't get out my shell, and I can feel the pressure on my chest. But when I look at myself, I know I'm better than last year when I disappeared. Shaking up and full of fear. It took a while for me to get back up, get myself back together. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back.
Let me see how loud this is real quick. So I think it's louder than I think, actually.
So I'm better than last year when I disappeared. Shaking up and full of fear. It took a while for me to get back up, get myself back together. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back. It's like we're going one step forward.
So yeah, that's basically the difference a master can make. And what I like about this song a lot is that the mix is already really good. Like the connection between all the parts is already really good. It just needed some like massaging, shaping a bit more, in my opinion. And yeah, that's basically what I aim for with all of this. Like I have one, two, three, four EQs on this, doing different kinds of things. And all these EQs have different sort of shapes and colors, and the way they have different bells. And I'm a big fan of just EQing and saturation, basically. Um, so yeah, that's that's what you can do. This is just some side EQ. What's happening here? A bit of roll off in the low end and some high end boosts, some low cutting to get rid of some boxiness, a bit of saturation, even more. Like these bands are not even used anymore. This one's turned off. This one's something pokey, probably. What's happening here? zero point 0.4 dB. 1.7. Yeah, 30K. Here we go. And then some soothe to tailor it a bit, like in the SC regions, because Floss has a quite aggressive S, which is also beautiful, but can be a bit overbearing sometimes. So that's why I like to use soothe. Even more EQ. Just did I use this? Oh, a bit of high cut. Sick. And then some limiting, and that's it.
Oh, I'm better than last year when I disappeared. Shaken up and full of fear. It took a while for me to get back up, get myself back together. It's like we're going one step forward, two steps back. It's
like for me with the song, the vocal is the most important thing in this whole thing. So that's what I try to accentuate. Yeah, big fan of the inflator. I saw like the Billie Eilish mastering engineer using it. What's his name again? Fuck, not right now, right? Let me look it up. I think it was John. What's his name? Can't remember. John Greenham? Yeah, I think that's the one. I'm not sure. But he's a big fan of the inflator, so I started using it from there, and it's I've been there ever since. It's a bit of a go-to for me. Let's see. You guys have any questions? Crims asks, this is a really good question. What are some instances where creative expression should make room for being technically correct? This is a good one because there's no technically correct in this whole game for me. Like you can do whatever you want. Obviously, our ears have a curve and our brains work in a certain way, which makes some sounds pleasing and some not. But like especially with all the hyperpop stuff today, for instance, that's super aggressive and digitally clipped. It's so interesting to see, and I'm all for it. That there's that spectrum as well, where like older people would say, "What the fuck is this? What are these kids doing?" Yeah. So creative expression in that point, like all the hyperpop kids, Glaive, what's Floss showed me one, Breakins. Yeah, and there's a couple of those guys and girls that I absolutely love for just smashing the shit out of those boundaries. And yeah, that's my whole philosophy with mastering as well. And sometimes it gets me in trouble a bit, uh, but sometimes it doesn't. It's just, yeah, trying to see what works. Um, with mastering, I always, of course, have an artist and their vision to deal with, so I try to take that into account. But I'm all for it, like putting my own stamp on it. Yeah, uh, or at least showing them my opinion on a track when I'm mastering it. And I'm always more than happy to dumb it down, or yeah, take it a notch back, not dumb it down. That's the. But yeah, creative expression should always make room for being technically correct. Hell yes. Let's see. Okay, it's going about someone else. do, 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 do. Yeah, Eric Doa. Oh yes, it's definitely kind of a feeling. I'm more than ready to master the hyperpop son is gonna make. Yeah, I love that shit for sure. Cool. I'm thinking I'm gonna be wrapping up pretty soon. So if you guys still have any questions, thoughts, or concerns or discussions you want to open, let me know. Uh, Lefris official. Do you know how people get the sound where the 808 is clipping and affecting the vocal? Is it actually clipping on the master or in the mix? Yeah, that's usually done. Well, there's like there's different ways you can go about this, but what it usually is like, since the low end takes up the most headroom, and if you push that loud into like a clipper or a limiter, that's gonna affect like the rest of the mix and the vocal itself as well. How that can also be done is having the like the 808 and the vocals in the same bus or in the same group, and then saturating and compressing that thing. Like My Fault, for instance, by San Holo, like the drop where the synth gets pushed away by the sort of low end thing is is um, is exactly that. Yeah, the mono music, it's all feeling. This whole thing is all feeling. It's like you have I think where people get it wrong with the technicality is that that they think it's the rule, and it's a rule that cannot be broken. But the thing is, you use tools to fix things, or to make them how you want to make them. And one thing that would be better, or that might not be better, but at the end of the day, it's all your call. You can decide to do whatever you like. That's what I do with the whole mastering thing. I I I put my vision on it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I've also, like, I've mastered over like about 500 songs in the last 2 to 3 years, I think. Um, and I didn't get the job on all those masters. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, Billie Eilish, Zanny. That's exactly like Rob Kanelski did that in the mix. Uh, it's just the 808 is so loud that it's distorting the limiting, which is making the vocal cracking up. Um, yes, Joji, attention. Cool. All right, guys. It's been a fun 2 hours. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, I'm gonna start wrapping up. It's been hella fun with you guys. Thank you so much for all your questions, thoughts, and concerns. Um, I'm hoping this has been of help somewhat, and that you got something out of this. And if you have any questions still, or anything you'd like to know, just DM me on Insta. That's my, I think that's my favorite place to be. Or on Twitter. I'm trying to grow my Twitter a bit because I deleted my I Live Here Twitter and I just made a new Tim Biesta at Tim Biesta Master Twitter. So you can hit me up there as well, or through email timbista@gmail.com. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and good luck with all your submissions and with all the demos, and um, keep making music. And like I said, if you have any questions, please hit me up. And I'll talk to you guys soon, hopefully. All right. Sayonara, people. Later.